Spearman, Rifleman, Minuteman. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I am your host, the average Rifleman first, everything else in life second, video series enjoyer that your mom said that we have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, the purpose of this video and the next several videos is going to be to educate you and help further prepare you and inform you on your journey to becoming a prepared modern spearman, Rifleman, and Minutemen, okay? We're going to be talking about the concepts, and we're going to be talking about my go-to-war rifle and a lot of things that you need to know along the way. This is going to be a more serious approach with a little bit of entertainment involved towards making you a better Rifleman, Minuteman, and modern-day spearman. Now, this video series was, I guess, spurred on by my own thoughts, my internal monologue, if you will, but I'm currently competing in a 3-day EIC, okay, Excellence in Competition match. It's a 3-day match. It involves rifle and handgun, and what I feel like the internet has misled a lot of my audience, maybe me included, is that these things, the internet hasn't told you that these things, right, handguns, matter more than they actually do. So this video series is hopefully going to gear you towards the things that actually matter in any sort of Minuteman or prepared citizen environment, and that is going to be being a prepared rifleman with a serious rifle setup and all the education behind it that I feel that you need to know. Now, before we get into this video and before we get into this video series, what I would like each and every one of you guys to do is, one, make sure you like the video. I'm going to be doing a ton of educational videos here moving forward, entertaining and educational videos here moving forward on Rifleman, the Rifleman concept, the modern day Minuteman, and the modern day Spearman. And all I ask you guys to do is like the videos and comment down below what you want the focus of the next Rifleman first, everything else second video installment to be. Okay, today we're going to be talking about just the overall concept, and then I think we're going to get into a little bit of zeroing. But I want you guys to know what your specific questions are on the modern day rifleman and what things you need or want to know. So you just leave all those comments down below, whether it be ammo, optics, slings, lights, you guys name it. I will dive into each and every area wherever you guys ask for it, right? So leave those comments, and if you want to support my work, Patreon is $5 a month. Thank you to all those that donate to the Patreon. It keeps this channel alive, as YouTube doesn't pay anything. So really, you guys are what keeps this channel alive. Okay, so Rifleman first, everything else second. So let's talk about the first thing. The internet, myself included, YouTube, focuses very, very heavily on handguns. Why? Because handguns are something that you carry every day. Handguns are more accessible. Handguns, a lot of guys think handguns are cooler, whatever, right? So here's a Glock 19 Gen 5 just for demonstration purposes. And here is a gun you guys all know that is, both these guns have been tested and showcased on the channel, okay, and fired a ton. But the internet and GunTube focuses very heavily on handgun content, when really handguns in the overall scheme of things are pretty much useless. Outside of a concealed carry role or a law enforcement role, handguns really are useless. They are relegated kind of as a last-ditch effort and as a backup solution. They are not the primary option. So forget about these for today. Forget about these for the next several days as we go over Rifleman first, everything else second. So what I would like to do in this first installment is show you my actual go-to-war rifle and give you my thoughts along the way. What I would like to do in video number 2 is talk about zeroing, some tips, some tricks, some things that you guys are doing wrong that I've noticed, and try to help you. And then I think after that we maybe get into ballistics, unless you guys are all like, Drench, talk about why this light or this optic is better, or why LPVOs suck, or whatever you want to see. You guys will have to leave that in the comments. So without further ado, I'm going to show you my actual go-to-war rifle. I know we did the Roast My Rifle series here recently, but this is my actual, no joke, go-to-war rifle. We're going to go over it, okay, tip to butt. I'll talk about some things, but then after today's video and after I talk about my go-to-war rifle, I want the rest of this series to be more educational, geared towards your rifle. But if you're not in the know and you just want to copy a rifle, then I guess you could copy this one if you just want the easy button, right? So cheers, and let's get into it. So, tip to butt. First and foremost, what is this thing? For guys that have not been around the channel, this is a Daniel Defense V7. That's how it started life. But We're going to go through it tip to butt, and I'll talk about some things along the way that have been changed on the rifle and all that. First thing I want to talk about is the paint, because I'll forget to talk about it later. So a lot of guys will ask, Trench, why do you paint your rifles? What's the point? You know, why not just leave it black? Whatever. Well, a lot of guys will just paint their rifle because they think it looks cool, right? Obviously, you know, a painted rifle does look cool, but however, if you think about a black rifle in the woodline, you're holding a rifle. If I was wearing a combat shirt or whatever, if you just imagine me in uniform, if all that was black on my body was the rifle, obviously it gives away your position, okay? Also, the reflective nature of how the rifle comes, typically you want to avoid that, all right? So, as far as painting your rifle, don't overcomplicate it. We can do a whole video series on rifle paint if you want, but just make sure you do paint your rifle in some form or fashion, and maybe I'll do a deeper dive on rifle paint by itself in the future. Next, let's just talk about barrel length. This is a 16-inch barrel on this Daniel Defense rifle. Why do I like 16 inches? Well, really 16 inches is too much, but 16 inches is going to give you, you know, up there by 3,000 feet per second, right, at the muzzle, and you're going to get good delivery of energy on your intended target. Later on in this series, when I talk about zeroing and I talk about stuff like that, and actually using your bullet drop compensator and actually utilizing this weapon, what it's intended to do at targets downrange at 300, 400, 500 meters, even 600 meters, you're going to want the muzzle, the barrel length, okay? Here is an example of what you probably wouldn't want. A lot of guys run like a 7-inch barrel, a lot of FUDs. Probably don't want that. This is a CMMG Banshee. Bear with the color scheme. I know it's a meme, but you definitely do not want a short barrel. Okay, so on my go-to-war rifle, I have a 16-inch barrel. I like 16 inches, again, because you can still fight with it, and it gives you a ton of velocity for those farther engagements, and you're going to get a tighter shot group in MOA. Once we start getting into ballistics and minute of angle, you will understand why a 16-inch barrel is a really, really good option, okay? Now, next, you're going to notice my muzzle device, okay? We'll get into the rifle some more here. The muzzle device on this gun, focus, is a Huxworks muzzle device. Now, typically I would tell you not to get a proprietary muzzle device, but the reason I did it is it takes down the report. When I choose to run this thing suppressed, it takes down the report a little bit, and it makes it a little bit quieter, right? So, whenever I choose to run this thing with a can, okay, whenever I choose to run this thing with a can, which is whenever I'm using it as like a general purpose rifle roll or something like that, that having that proprietary muzzle device and being able to apply that, that device when I need it and being able to take it off quickly, hopefully it doesn't get carbon locked, right, when you're using it when it gets hot, but being able to remove it quickly and having that quick release system is a big benefit because this gun is extremely light running it the way I run it, okay? So, Huxworks, muzzle device on there, love it, boom. Moving on from there. Handguard, the V7 does have an M-lock handguard. I really like this one. It's bomb-proof. It is screwed in by Daniel Defense back here at 4 different locations. So it really is a bomb-proof solution for an M-lock handguard. Typically, I would say avoid M-lock for a go-to-war rifle, but this M-lock handguard and this rifle setup is a very good solution, and I do recommend the Daniel Defense M-lock rail. Moving back from there, I have a Surefire Vampire Head Light. I don't run any night vision active aiming things on this gun 99.9% of the time because shooting during the day with a D-ball A3 on top of this gun makes it heavy, and you will be the worst at any competition that you ever shoot with this gun if you have your suppressor on and if you have a D-ball A3. So the way you see this gun right here, as I get a little bit sidetracked as to why I have a Vampire Head on this Surefire, the way you see this gun right here is how I shoot it the vast majority of the time. And we can get into that at a later date, I guess, some more. But just to give you the broad strokes, shooting suppressed sucks. If you guys didn't know that, I can do a whole video on that concept alone. But shooting suppressed definitely is not ideal. It does suck, and it just adds weight to the front of the gun, blah, blah, blah. We can do a whole video on that. So this right here is exactly how I run this gun setup the vast majority of the time. Okay, so Surefire, yep. When your life is on the line, I like Surefire for sure. Keep in mind, I don't have any sponsors on the channel. This is just what I use, what I like, whatever, right? So I don't like any pressure switches. As you guys know, I like to just have this where a pressure switch used to live. As you can see, this Velcro, this hook pile tape right here, okay, where a pressure pad used to go. Now that is just an index point for where I know my thumb needs to be, okay, boom. Where I know my thumb needs to rest for when I need to index my white light, okay? Try not to, bump you guys on the audio too much there, but that is just where my thumb will naturally rest for my white light. Again, I like Surefire. I like the Vampire head. This is a scout light, okay? Surefire scout light. I just really like them. They're small, they're compact. They can pivot as close into the gun as possible, as you can see. I'll show you this. You can pivot it as close into the rifle as possible. That way it's not super obtrusive and hanging out and getting in the way of things. So that is what I like on there. I run it on the left side of the gun. That's just how I've been trained to use it and run it. So there is that. Okay, moving back from there. Let's talk about slings. I always get the name of this wrong, so I'll just read it straight off. This is a Blue Force Gear. Blue Force Gear, woodland adjustable sling. Boom, there you go. Why Blue Force? Well, I go back and forth between T-Rex Arms and Blue Force a lot. The Blue Force is superior in only one way. The sling will not accidentally adjust if you need it to stay in a fixed position when you're shooting from the kneeling unsupported, or if you just need the gun to stay tighter to you. I have found, even though I do like the T-Rex Arms sling, that the Blue Force Gear sling just stays more, I guess the adjustment, if that makes sense, will actually stay in place a little bit more snug than the T-Rex Arms. So for my go-to-war rifle, I do recommend Blue Force Gear, and I just like the woodland because it blends in and it's a vibe, right? And we all are here for the vibes, of course. Okay, QD, I like QD mainly because when I'm doing anything that I want to shoot really, really fast, I'll take the rear QD, okay, and I'll put it right here at the back of the weapon. Maybe. For demonstration purposes, it is... For some reason, okay, there we go, we're in. Okay, this is how I'll run it, okay? So that way it will flop around a little bit more, okay? But when I run it off, I just like the QD because I can move it around, and that's why QD is popular, because you can make adjustments on the fly. But I do like to have that versatility if I need to move my sling around based on if I'm shooting a competition or if I'm shooting a known distance course, or if I'm just carrying it around all day, I'll put it back on the buttstock as I'm doing right now. So that way it's more comfortable to carry, right? But back here is faster to shoot, obviously. Then you're gonna get more movement right in the actual gun if you move the sling into the midpoint of the gun. So the farther out you can get your sling, the more stable it's gonna be. I could do a whole video on that sling setup as well. But I digress and we will move on. Optics, okay. The most hotly debated topic on GunTube is, you guys already know, LPVOs. I do not like LPVOs. What I do like is ACOGs, okay? I like ACOGs, and no shocker, I like EOTechs, okay? Why do I like these options? Well, really, lately I've been shooting a ton of EOTechs because shooting magnified up close, don't need it, right? Obviously. But it's a lot faster, it's a lot lighter to shoot with just an EOTech. And then if you need something extra, okay, guess what you can do? Pop on this bad Larry if you're running just an EOTech, and now you got the magnification. But back to the gun. This is the setup that I shoot the best and enjoy the most. You guys have seen this setup before, TA31, RMR, whatever, right? Okay. Ambidextrous, that ambi, okay? I do not care. I'm sorry, I got some in my teeth, driving me crazy. I do not care for the ambidextrous safety. If I could, I would get rid of it and just have the GI version, right? But this gun does have, it came with an ambidextrous safety and it is on there, so whatever, right? There you go. But if I could, if I had my option, I would just have right hand only and my thumb would manipulate it and that's it. I just don't like this in case it bumps into anything, right? Super simple. Magpul. I don't know what Magpul buttstock this is, but I do like it, all right? A lot of you guys will be able to comment down below what Magpul buttstock this is, but I like it. It's compact, but gives you a good good surface area for cheek to stock, right? So that's why I like it. Let's talk about the worst part of this gun, and that is right here. Other than the trigger is a mil-spec trigger. It is what some would refer to as kind of trash, right? This one's a little bit better than mil-spec just because it's been shot thousands of times, so it's kind of worn in a little bit, but it's not great, okay? Mil-spec Daniel Defense trigger, and the worst part about any Daniel Defense gun, other than the stock that it comes with, is this right here. You're looking at it, this stupid rubber grip. If you've ever hated the Daniel Defense rubber pistol grip, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Comment in the comment section if you've ever thrown one of these in the trash, okay? So what I do with them is I cut the bottom off. You see how it's open now? All right, I cut the bottom off, and I remove that weird, like, some of you guys will know what I'm talking about, the weird, like, Daniel Defense weird plug thing that goes in here, right? Take that off, remove the rubber, make it flat right there, and that is how I run this stupid grip. Now it's very usable. Now it is kind of comfortable because you have the rubber there, but the way that it comes from Daniel Defense is just not ideal. Okay, what magazines do I run for realsies are these, okay? Again, don't know the name. They are just GI Blue Follower magazines. Okay, that's a lot of talking. Guys, the purpose of this video series, okay? The purpose of this video series is to remind you guys that handguns they're just not what the internet cracks them up to be, okay? They are a backup tool. They're your lifeline in CQB, but outside of that, they are literally just that. They're a backup tool. They're a compromise, and just don't fall victim to all the hype on the internet of everyone telling you handguns, myself included, right? Because I focus so heavily on handguns, I feel like sometimes on the channel, that you guys can lose sight of what actually matters, and that is your go-to-war rifle. So, again, the purpose of this series, right? I'll put my suppressor back on, allegedly. The purpose of this series is to do the Spearman, Rifleman, Minuteman concept to bring you up to speed on what it means to actually be a rifleman. Let me know in the comments down below if you're excited for this series. Let me know in what order. So your comments, if you got this far in the video, should be video 2, zeroing, video 3, ammo, video 4, sling, and that should be your comment style if you are investing in the series. So yeah, that will help greatly when it comes to production, when it comes to whiteboard stuff, and whatever I have not already covered on whatever topic, I will do a deep dive into that topic based on your questions and based on your questions, based on your recommendations of what you want to see next, okay? All right, that's a lot of talking, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the comments. Let me know what your go-to-war rifle looks like, and if you're new in the market and you're just trying to figure out what to buy, well, I can't tell you what to buy, but I can tell you this is what I use, right? Okay, thanks for being here, guys, and until next time, this will be Trench Grenade, your average Spearman, Rifleman, Minuteman video series enjoyer that your mom said that we have at home. Thanks for watching.